Let me ask you, as a legal matter, if there's a law that's passed both houses of Congress and it goes to the White House, and a staffer autopens signing that law without the president's authorization, is that law legally passed and signed into law?
No.
If an executive order is issued and a staffer autopens it without the president's authorization, is that executive order legally binding?
No.
And if a pardon is issued from the President of the United States and a staffer autopens it without the President's authorization, is that pardon legally binding?
No.
Under the Biden White House, the ceremonial song, "Hail to the Chief," was effectively replaced with "Hail to the Pen." And it was an outright assault on democracy. And every reporter covering this ought to ask, why doesn't a Democrat care?
Hello, Patriots. Welcome back to Conservative Mandate, where we uncover the truth and fight for the values that make America great. Today, we're exposing one of the most shocking scandals in modern presidential history. Senator Ted Cruz just revealed devastating truths about the Biden administration that every American needs to hear. This isn't just about politics. It's about democracy, integrity, and the very survival of our nation. Stay tuned, because what we're about to share will blow your mind. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to join the fight to save America. Share this video with everyone you know, because together we can expose the lies and hold the elites accountable. Now let's get into it. Senator Cruz called the Biden administration the most brazen constitutional fraud in American history. He exposed what many of us have suspected all along. Biden is nothing more than a failing puppet, a hollow figurehead with staffers pulling the strings behind the scenes. Even worse, the American people saw it firsthand during the June 2024 debate, when Biden stood frozen, confused, and unable to speak coherently. Cruz predicted that night that one candidate would be removed from a ballot, and he was absolutely right. What did the Democrats...
Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Biden administration may go down in history as the most brazen constitutional fraud in American history. A Potemkin presidency fronted by a failing puppet with staffers behind the scenes pulling the strings. This is not political hyperbole. The American people saw it with their own eyes during the June 2024 debate. Numerous times, Biden stood frozen behind the podium, mouth agape, eyes frozen and unblinking. When he did speak, his words were confused and disjointed. I said that night, this is the most consequential presidential debate in history because it will result in one of the two candidates being removed from the ballot. That was exactly right. And following that debate, the Democrats recognized the collapse. They pulled out their knives and took out President Biden like Caesar on the Ides of March. For all of their strutting about, protesting that they support democracy, not a one of them gave a damn about democracy when they pulled Biden off the ballot and dropped Kamala Harris in without a single Democrat primary voter voting for him. And you know what? Not a single Democrat is here today because not a single one of them gives a damn about the fact that they lied to the American people for 4 years. They knew. Every one of them knew that Joe Biden was mentally not competent to do the job. The White House press secretary, she knew when she stood in front of the American people and lied over and over and over again. And they're not here because they can't defend themselves. It wasn't a surprise. For 4 years, the White House hid President Biden from Republican senators, would not let him meet with us. He served 40 years in this body. We all know him. And they deliberately lied. And by the way, Jake Tapper had a bombshell book exposing the incredible scandal that Biden's mental decline was covered up by Jake Tapper. There's a Yiddish word, chutzpah. And that truly is chutzpah. How dare we lie and cover up what we all knew? Now, I have been asked literally 1,000 times by Texans, who was running the country? And I'm going to give you the most terrifying answer. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And not a single Democrat here cares? The most telling proof of Biden's decline came with the signature of the president, the symbol of executive authority that was outsourced to a machine. Mr. Wold, you're a lawyer who served in the White House counsel's office. You understand the gravity of presidential action. Does the president's signature carry legal and constitutional weight under Article 2?
Yes.
Is the act of signing an executive order or signing a law or granting a pardon a delegable duty of the president?
So in that opinion in 2005 from OLC, they said essentially that an Autopen could be used by a subordinate, but the president's determination as to sign the document can never be delegated.
Can that authority be transferred to a staffer or a machine without the president's explicit authorization?
Never.
And if you look at the statistics are stunning. In 2021, President Biden issued 78 executive orders. None were signed with an Autopen. That first year of the presidency, Biden, I suppose, was relatively lucid, and 78 executive orders he signed by hand. The second year, however, we see the Autopen emerge. The first Autopen executive order was issued on July 15th, 2022. After that day, 100% of the executive orders issued in 2022 were signed by an Autopen. In 2023, Biden issued 24 executive orders. 16 were Autopenned. In 2024, Biden issued 19. 14 were Autopenned. In 2025, Biden issued 14 executive orders. Every single one was Autopenned. Mr. Wold, let me ask you as a legal matter, if there's a law that's passed both houses of Congress and it goes to the White House, and a staffer autopens signing that law without the president's authorization, is that law legally passed and signed into law?
No.
If an executive order is issued and a staffer autopens it without the president's authorization, is that executive order legally binding?
No.
And if a pardon is issued from the President of the United States and a staffer autopens it without the President's authorization, is that pardon legally binding?
No.
Under the Biden White House, the ceremonial song, Hail to the Chief, was effectively replaced with Hail to the Pen. And it was an outright assault on democracy. And every reporter covering this ought to ask, why doesn't a Democrat care? We heard about the moral responsibilities of a staffer. How about an elected senator who knows damn well that if we get into a war and Iran is preparing to fire a nuclear weapon at the United States, that the commander-in-chief is busy playing with his Jell-O and is not competent to defend ourselves? And every member of the cabinet, the chief of staff, the press secretary, and the members of Congress who lied about this on a daily basis with the press's complicity, they are all responsible for subverting democracy.
Senator Cornyn.
Right. What did the Democrats do? They didn't let democracy decide. They pulled Biden off the ticket like Julius Caesar on the Ides of March and swapped in Kamala Harris, without a single Democrat primary voter having say. Let that sink in. The party that claims to defend democracy just trampled all over it. But here's the real kicker. They knew all along. Every Democrat in Washington, the White House press secretary, and the compliant liberal media lied to the American people for 4 years. They knew Biden wasn't mentally competent to lead, and they hid him from Republican senators, the press, and the public. Even CNN's Jake Tapper exposed this in his bombshell book, admitting that Biden's mental decline was a scandal covered up by the White House. And here's where it gets even worse. Biden's executive authority, the very power given to the president under the Constitution, was abused and outsourced. Senator Cruz revealed that Biden increasingly relied on an Autopen, a machine that automatically signs documents. In 2021, Biden signed all 78 executive orders by hand. But by 2025, every single executive order was signed by Autopen. Patriots, this is terrifying. Who was really running the country? Cruz grilled legal expert Mr. Wold, who confirmed that laws, executive orders, and even pardons signed by Autopen without the president's explicit authorization are not legally valid. This is a direct assault on our Constitution and the rule of law. Delegating presidential authority to staffers or machines is not only unconstitutional, but also a betrayal of the American people. Think about the implications. If Biden isn't in control, who is? And what happens if a critical decision, like responding to a nuclear threat, is needed? Cruz put it bluntly. While Iran prepares to fire a nuclear weapon, the commander-in-chief might be busy playing with his jello. This isn't a joke. It's a national security crisis, and every Democrat who lied about Biden's competency is complicit. This is a wake-up call. Patriots, we cannot ignore the blatant corruption and incompetence in this administration. It's time to demand accountability from every senator, cabinet member, and member of the press who covered up this fraud. And we must stand together to protect our Constitution and our democracy before it's too late. If you're fired up and ready to fight for America, hit that like button, comment below, and tell us what you think about this scandal. Don't forget to subscribe to Conservative Mandate so we can keep exposing the truth and defending our freedoms. Share this video far and wide, because together we can hold the Biden administration accountable and take our country back. Stay strong, stay vigilant, and stay proud, patriots. America needs you now more than ever.